live from the KWQC Broadcast Center in downtown Davenport with Morgan Otier and Kyle Keel. This is Quad Cities Live.
Today on QCL, see what's in bloom at Wallace's Garden Center and learn about two fun and unique events on the calendar this month, the Pollinator Party and the Plant Pot Recycling event.
With many of us hitting the road for summer travel, U.S. Cellular is putting the spotlight on distracted driving awareness and ways to use technology to focus on safety.
Plus, a Father's Day weekend tradition is celebrating nearly 6 decades. Learn more about the sights and sounds of the Geneseo Music Festival set for this coming weekend. Hello and welcome to Quad Cities Live. It is June 10th. It is a Tuesday. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Kyle Keel alongside my co-host Morgan Otier. Art on every corner. It's a mission come to life for Quad City Arts. The organization is celebrating its most impactful year yet when it comes to public sculpture installations.
That's right. This month, there will be more than 30 new sculptures placed in specific locations across the area. And here today from Quad City Arts to tell us more about the program is gallery assistant Abby Konkusin. Abby, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so let's kind of just start at the beginning for people who may not know anything about this. Describe the sculpture program for us. It has been in place for a couple of decades now.
Yes, we started in 2002 in Rock Island, and we've since expanded to all 4 of the central Quad Cities, including Clinton and DeWitt. And this year we'll have 34 new sculptures in the program.
34. So, and this is a record number since this whole program began.
Yes, and we said that last year, and this year it's even expanded more. So we're very excited for this year and in the future as well.
I was going to say, going for another record next year?
Hopefully, we'll see.
Kyle's putting you up to the task, that's for sure. Yes. We're going to have to run this one back next year. So many of the installations are already underway. Actually, you were just saying there are many happening right now today. So kind of describe the process for us and everything involved in it, because I would assume that some of them can be quite difficult to install.
Right, yes. So all of these sculptors, when they apply, give us a rundown of what they would need. So sometimes sculptors need cranes, forklifts, things like that. But a lot of it is just pure manpower. We gather a couple of people and we bring the sculptures off the truck and drill them into the concrete. But it's quite the task for
I would
each
imagine.
one.
Yeah. So, you were mentioning that you've had about, at the end of today, you'll have about 14 installed across the area. So you've got about 20 more that need to be installed. So how long is this process going to take to get those installed?
We won't have everything done until the end of the month.
Okay.
And so we've got a few more weeks left. And then after that, everything will be on our website. We'll have photos and a map showing where all of the sculptures are.
Okay.
And there's one of those cranes putting one of those installations in. Wow.
Yeah, quite a task, because at the end of the day, right, this is someone's baby, so to speak. This is art, and I feel like it would be really kind of like stressful to get all of these in place. But you guys do such a wonderful job. So who creates these sculptures? Talk a little bit about that for us. Where are these artists from? How are they chosen?
Sure, we have sculptors from all over the country. So not only are we having our regional sculptures that we love and the sculptors that we are familiar working with, but we also have sculptors from Connecticut and Colorado, and even there's a lot from Minnesota this year as well.
Really? Okay. So what's the process for choosing the sculptors? Because I mean, you've chosen 34 for this year. I'm sure you get many, many, many more if there's submissions, or how does all of that work?
Right, so we get quite a few. The application process starts at the beginning of the year, and then each city gets to choose which sculptures go into their city.
That's cool.
And then they choose the locations as well.
All right, so does the actual sculptor get to be a part of the installation process if they want?
Oh, absolutely.
That's
yeah,
cool.
Most of them really enjoy that, and they're the ones that know what they're doing. So we want them to be a part of it.
Oh yeah, and it has to be an amazing feeling too to see your work on display like that.
Yes.
And, after submitting it, and yeah, very, very cool. So you talked a little bit about the different cities that are involved. They get to choose where to put them. So what types of places will we see these sculptures? Like parks or?
Yes, absolutely. We have quite a few in parks along downtown downtown sidewalks, and a lot of our sculptures are in front of libraries as well.
Oh, lovely.
All right, so once these are on display for everyone to enjoy, what happens to the sculptures when they're done? Do they go back to the owner, or do they go somewhere else across the country? What happens when it's all done here in the QCA?
So they're all available for sale right now. So many cities consider purchasing them, but if they don't get purchased, then the sculptor applies for other sculpture programs across the country, and yeah, they'll be on their way to a new location if they don't make it.
That is an awesome opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes. It really, really is. And I know in the past when you've been on the show, you've said a lot of municipalities, cities, they do decide to purchase these. People, they draw people in.
Yeah.
So that kind of takes us to our next question. Why do you feel that public art like this is so important, really for any community, but specifically for our communities?
Yeah.
Yes, public art in general is great for fostering cultural engagement and just fostering a sense of pride in our community. So sculptures are a good conversation piece when you're walking down the street. They're good landmarks. A lot of people see these sculptures as they're going to work every day or when they take their kids to the park. And so it's just good for engaging our Quad citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a good way, you know, maybe have people take photos with them, talk about it on social media, get the word out there.
Yes.
These are out there for us to see and enjoy.
Yes, we would love people to take photos with all of the sculptures and tag us on Quad City or at Quad City Arts on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So we'll be getting to see these. They'll all be installed by the end of the month. You kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but the website will be updated, so people can actually go around the entire Quad Cities and check out where all of these new. Explain how that works.
Yes. So on our website, we have a map with every location and the photo of each of our sculptures, and you can take a tour through the Quad Cities with all of the different sculptures while they're here. They'll be here for a whole year, and yeah, you can engage with us on social media and just interact with all of the sculptures.
Very cool.
All right, well, we want to briefly talk about the mural projects that you have going on this summer as well. So going from sculptures to murals, can you tell us a bit more about that project?
Yes, this is a big year for public art in the Quad Cities. We also have tons of murals going on. There's one in Bettendorf that got started in the downtown area, and then in August we'll also have our Alternating Currents Mural Fest, which is super exciting.
That'll be real fun.
And then Metro Arts also starts this week, so they're also doing murals for this season as well. So
I just love them, and they all look great.
They're beautiful. They're amazing. A lot of talent here in the Quad Cities, and a lot going on at Quad City Arts this summer. So if you want to learn more about the public sculpture program and where you can find the sculptures chosen for this year, you can visit quadcityarts.com. Abby, thank you so much for sharing this with us today, and we look forward to seeing all those sculptures.
It's a hard word.
It is a hard word, yes.
Abby, thank you.
of course.
Still to come on QCL, Wallace's Garden Center is back in business after a recent fire. We're going to get an update on that, but we're also going to learn about some really exciting events planned for June.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Wallace's Garden Center in Bettendorf is bursting with color and ready to help with your lawn and garden needs.
Yeah, that's right. The business has been fully open for nearly a week now after suffering some damage in a recent fire. The fire broke out on Saturday, May 31st, impacting the rear greenhouses and storage areas at Wallace's.
Yeah, all staff and customers, they were safely evacuated. Multiple fire departments responded, as you can see here in this video. The business was closed for a few days as damage was assessed and cleanup got underway. Well, joining us now in the studio from Wallace's Garden Center is Kate Terrell. Kate, welcome back to the show.
Yes. Thank you. I'm glad to be back.
Oh my gosh.
We're happy to have you.
We're so happy to have you. We're happy that you are back open. So are a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, I was reading comments on Facebook. Flooded with comments. People just supporting you, but even people that were there at the time that were like, everybody was just like, you know, on top of it. Like, you know, got out safely, and you know, in a situation like that, it sounds like it couldn't have, you know, worked out better as far as, you know, having customers in the store.
It was an amazing day. I mean, that day it was really overwhelming, and still going back to read them of those comments, and I think I've read them all now, but it's really a strange feeling to see so many people that, like, maybe you don't even know you, or you know, but they're so concerned about my people, me, the business, and so that was awesome. And yes, our team, they care about our customers, they care about each other, and so they were just, and they stay calm, and and the fire departments, they were phenomenal. The city of Bettendorf, like it was really an awesome thing to not to watch the fire, but to watch.
No, I know what you mean.
To watch the response.
To watch the response.
And to see them just take care of everything, and just know that it was going to be okay. Like once we got through it.
And we're glad the firefighter who was injured, that he was okay, and he was released from the hospital, and he's doing great now. So that's great news. Also, I mean, we were just talking about it. The flood of community support. I mean, we saw that almost instantaneously. I mean,
with Hy-Vee.
People, with Hy-Vee, even down the street, right?
You were there.
They were bringing water to the fire crews because it was a hot day, along with fighting a hot fire. So I mean,
and they had to push it in grocery carts because the road was closed.
Yeah.
So they had to literally load up their own carts and push water down for those firefighters.
It was so great to see that community come together for you. That's for sure.
It was amazing.
How is everything now? I mean, obviously things don't just go back to the way that they were. I'm sure you guys have a lot that you're working on, but you are back open. So how's damage?
So the damage was concentrated in our production areas and our storage areas. So when it comes to a customer standpoint, they're not going to notice much of a difference, which is fantastic. Behind the scenes, we are scrambling a little bit. We started producing our mums for the fall. The mums came in on Friday, so we had to scramble to buy new pots. They all burn up in the fire, more soil. We had to find a soil machine, which we got shipped out of Florida, like in a miracle, kind of. So we're scrambling a little bit on the production side, but our team, they're veterans, and they've, lately they've been through a pandemic, and we had a growing issue last year, and they just,
they're rising up constantly.
One of our most used phrases is adapt and overcome, and that's what they do all the time.
Oh, that's amazing.
You guys are doing a great job, and I know that the community is very happy that you're back open, so they can come and get their plants, and we got a lot of fun events coming up as well. So we want to talk about next week. It's National Pollinator Week, so you got a lot of events, or a couple of events that you wanted to talk about today.
We do. We love June because we kind of slowed down from the craziness, and then we had these events planned.
Right.
And so, like right after the fire, I was like, we're still doing all these things. Like, we're gonna go forward. So next week is National Pollinator Week, which started in 2017, just to bring awareness about the plight of our pollinators and their decreasing populations, and really to give people an idea of what they can do as an individual, as a family, to help with this, and without overturning your life or gardening a half an acre or doing that. Like, what are the little things that you can do every day to help our pollinators? And so we're throwing a pollinator party to celebrate at the end of that week on Saturday the 21st.
Saturday the 21st. Okay, so talk a little bit about some of the plants. Like if I'm going to Wallace's, what are some of the plants that I could be looking at for my home to attract pollinators? Which I feel like a lot of people had to change their mindset, right? We're like, I don't want the bees like surrounding my house. Like, oh my gosh, they're so good for ecosystem, for our environment, butterflies, bees. So what are some of the plants that I could just be looking at today in purchasing?
So we have a whole section outside in our nursery that is all pollinator plants, kind of all together in one spot. And so we brought a lot of them along. This is yarrow, daisy. A lot of these I kind of look for like a landing pad for butterflies and bees. And you'll see them out in our nursery. You'll see where the bees and the butterflies are already going. And know that they are there. One of the biggest things is you don't have to have a lot, and that you should always mix your annuals and your perennials. And so you want to plant perennials in the ground. They come back year after year. A lot of our perennials are natives, and the pollinators love native plants. But annuals are the ones that are going to bloom all the time. So there's always going to be a food source there for the hummingbirds, for the bees. So you want to plant a mixture. And there's pretty much anything bright and colorful that attracts you is going to be attracting our bees, our hummingbirds, our
that's
butterflies.
A good rule of thumb.
And so we do have a lot of it marked out there, and there's any number of Pinterest pollinator garden ideas that you can also look up. But some of my favorites are
they're beautiful.
the butterfly bush, which is just fantastic. Blooms all summer.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Heat tolerant, sun tolerant.
My neighbor has a ton of that, and they're just stunning all the time.
They are, and they're drought tolerant. So when we get into the hotter parts of the summer, these guys bloom and bloom. And we've planted up some pollinator garden pots that have all pollinator plants in them. So this weekend you'll be able to come and buy a pot that's already a nice mixture of pollinator type plants.
And the party, I mean, before we move on to the next event, so that party is one day only. So talk about a few of the things that we don't want to miss specifically at that event. Of course, we can get our pollinator plants anytime at Wallace's, but that specific event is going to have a lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah, so that day we'll have our scavenger hunt going on for the kids. We'll have a pollinator related craft for kids to do. We'll have a food truck there on Saturday, Girl Plus Food. I don't know if you've ever had her stuff, but it's pretty awesome. We're going to have lemonade and popcorn, and we'll have some special deals going on some of our milkweed plants, and just kind of like a celebration of all things pollinator.
Celebrate the pollinators and the kids. You don't have to be afraid of them. That's what I teach my kids. The bees are okay. Leave the bees alone.
And the bee will leave you be.
Exactly. So, Kate, you were just mentioning that you're talking about fall and mums, but we just got done with the spring planting season. So a lot of us, we have those pots that are left over. We don't want to throw those away because you can actually recycle those, and you're helping along with that.
That's right. We started this last year, our pot recycle or a pot bring back weekend, because you buy all these plants and flowers and then you end up in your garage with this big pile of plastic pots, and most municipal recycling programs won't recycle those plastic pots, so they end up in the landfill.
Oh boy.
And it's a lot of pots. So we started this thing where you can come that weekend, bring them back, and we sort through them, and everything that we can reuse, we reuse at Wallace's.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then anything that can't be reused, we sort it, and then it goes to a local recycler, and they actually grind it all up and then turn it into plastic pallets for the shipping industry.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And so pretty much like 99% of everything we receive ends up getting either reused or recycled. And so you can bring it to us confidently knowing that it's going to not end up in the landfill. And we'll take pots. We love the ones from Wallace's, but if you happen to pick up something from another garden shop along the way, we are collecting all of that plastic. The trays, the hanging baskets, the hangers, any of that plastic.
No matter where you got it.
June 28th and 29th, mark your calendars.
Yep, the scouts are going to be there helping us out. The scouts will be doing a lot of this sorting. And
they're going to get a badge for that.
Yes.
If that entices you anymore. I'm a big fan of the Girl and Boy Scouts.
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Well, Wallace's Garden Center is located, as you probably know, on Devil's Glen Road in Bettendorf. If you want any updates on upcoming events like the ones that we talked about today, be sure to follow Wallace's on Facebook. You can also visit them on the web by heading to wallacesgardencenter.com. Kate, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And we're so happy to hear that everyone's okay and that they're moving forward.
Onward.
We're glad to be back.
Onward.
Back growing again.
Yes,
All
absolutely.
right. Thanks so much, Kate. Well, coming up on Quad Cities Live, creating more awareness about distracted driving. US Cellular is here with its Smart Start Toolkit, helping to establish healthy digital habits.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Staying focused while driving has never been more important, especially as technology continues to play a growing role in our daily lives. Ironically, while phones can be a distraction for drivers, technology can also be part of the solution. Here to explain how built-in features can actually help us stay safe is Amanda Brockett from US Cellular. Amanda, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so looking forward to hearing everything you have to share with us today. Technology, of course, has come a very long way and can be helpful.
Yes.
So let's kind of start with the big picture. What really brought you in today is that distracted driving is still really a major problem.
Yep, it's still a major problem. The survey last year from Zebra talked about how 60% of respondents will talk on their phone while they're driving, and about 47% will also text and send and receive messages. So that can be an issue, and distract you for sure.
Yes, you know, I think that law enforcement and lawmakers and just, you know what, families, parents, they've tried to make a plea for more than a decade now, since, you know, texting has really become such a big thing, is like, do not text and drive, use hands-free, all of that stuff. But again, you just read the statistics, nearly 50% of people are still out there doing it. And I know when we're driving down the road, right, you can look out your window and you go, I think that person's next to me is texting while they're driving.
Yep.
Okay, so it's obviously a big issue, but you're here today providing some tips for us. So let's get started talking about one of the built-in phone features, which is US Mode.
Yes.
This is something that I've heard of.
Yep.
I don't necessarily know what it's all about, though. So can you explain that for us?
Yep, so US Cellular, our big thing is connecting us to what matters most and not allowing our phones to be a distraction. So we have an US Mode, so you can put the people you want to be important in that mode, and those are the only notifications you get. So that way you're not constantly distracted by all the pings from your phone.
Okay, so it's a mode, so it's basically already built into your phone.
Yep.
This isn't something that I would have to download or anything like that.
Nope, you just create it as a focus mode on your phone.
Okay.
And only people you want to contact you will be the only ones contacting you.
Okay, great. So I'm thinking, right, like a spouse or partner, maybe your child's school
children,
or your children themselves. Okay, so that makes sense. So unless it's coming from them, you won't be distracted by anything else. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about CarPlay and kind of getting situated in your car before you actually start driving.
Yes, so it's really important that before you get on the road that you make sure your phone is hooked up. A lot of cars come with CarPlay, which I have a video here to show you from my vehicle.
Okay.
So it's really awesome feature that only allows certain things to be played through on your in your car. So if you're going somewhere, the map will show up big right there on the screen, so you don't have to look down at your phone. And if you're listening to audiobooks, which I love doing when I'm driving, it'll only show those things up for you. So it really prevents a lot of that. Plus you can use Siri, and it'll read through the text messages for you too, so you're not having to look down at your phone while you're doing that.
And speaking of not looking at your phone or not being tempted to look at your phone, you brought some different mounting devices with you here today. So first, just talk a little bit about this one.
So that one there does not charge, but it allows for you to put it anywhere in your vehicle that can be right in your face. So that way you're not looking down and looking away from the road. So it can be right there where you're looking at the road and your device at the same time and not being distracted in that way.
If need be. Okay, and this one's pretty cool.
Yeah, so this one, a lot of phones, newer phones now, have a MagSafe part of their phone, so it sticks to the phone.
Okay.
That way, if you go through a bump or anything like that, the phone does not fall off, and then it's right there for you.
Okay.
It will also charge your device too, so then, like if you're going somewhere for a long trip, you're not worried about it dying on the way. So.
Hey, you know what? The charging your phone is a nice little perk.
Yes.
Absolutely. We heard about rules of the road. That's what my little booklet was called when I learned when I got my driver's license. But your next tip is to establish your own rules of the road.
Yep, so we've partnered with Screen Sanity, and if you want your own little booklet, you can stop at any US Cellular location and get one. But what Screen Sanity does is they've provided a little guide for us to set our own expectations for our family and us. So it's really important that when you're in the vehicle, you're setting expectations for what your family is allowed to do and not allowed to do, especially if you're a parent that happens to have kids that are getting ready to drive and have a learner's permit. It gives you a guide and talking points to have that conversation. And be responsible and respectful.
And be a role model too, right? And kind of model the behavior in front of your children, I guess, that you want your children to follow through on. You also, you guys provide a Smart Start toolkit.
Yes, that's what this is here.
Okay.
So it's from Screen Sanity. It's a smarter toolkit.
It'll help you. It'll help you come up with those guidelines. It'll help you come up with those rules. Okay. And just kind of going all the way back to the beginning when we talked about technology and it being able to help keep you safe, there are a variety of apps out there that will prevent you from driving distracted.
Yes. So there's Life 360 and Find My iPhone. So what that will allow you to do is monitor driving speed. So if you are a parent, making sure that your child is driving safe and practicing good distracted driving habits, then you can watch how they're doing and help them. It also alerts you if they get into an accident. So if you have a loved one and you want to make sure they're safe, you can have those different things to allow you to see
what's going on.
What's going on with them.
Keep a better eye on, and yeah, all kinds of apps out there that can really help. So that was Life 360 and Find My Family. So just download those and check them out as you wish. And if you are watching, you want to learn more about distracted driving, how to better use the resources that we talked about with Amanda today, just visit your local US Cellular location. You can find that information by visiting uscellular.com. We will put a link up on our website. Amanda, we really appreciate you coming in here today and just providing lots of great information.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And still to come in our second half hour, a good kind of distraction. From creative crafts to fun parties, we'll take a look at what's on the calendar this month at the Robert R. Jones Public Library. Plus, a Father's Day weekend tradition is gearing up for its 57th year. We'll get the details on the 2025 Geneseo Music Festival.
And that haze a little thicker, keeping those temperatures really south of 80 degrees today, but still not too bad. We've got temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. A little warmer tomorrow, slightly more humid. And yes, we're tracking the potential for some storms. All those details coming up in your first alert forecast in the next half hour of Quad Cities Live.
Accurate and reliable. This is your First Alert forecast with meteorologist Kyle Keel.
Well, as mentioned before the break, a little hazy out there today. That haze from the wildfire smoke continues to kind of filter our sunshine just a bit. Luckily, though, it's not having too much of an impact on air quality, so that's the good news. But certainly on the Everywhere Camera Network, you can see a milkiness to the sky. A little breezy out there at times as well. Overall, though, a comfortable day, 77 degrees right now at the airport in Moline, just shy of the low 80s that we were forecasting. So we'll come shy of that, but don't worry, we'll get well into the 80s, even close to 90 here heading into tomorrow. We have a west wind at 16 miles per hour. I want you to take note of that dew point, 54 degrees. That dew point's going to be on the rise here over the next 24 to 48 hours. So yeah, goodbye to the 50s for overnight lows here for at least just a little bit. So we are warming up. We'll have 90s come in on Wednesday, 80s to follow. So yes, a very summer-like pattern is unfolding, and with that's going to come off and on rain chances, even a few thunderstorms. Right now, our Wednesday night into Thursday morning rain trend is probably north of the TV6 viewing area, and that's where the severe threat will be as well. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. But long range, looking beyond the week, it does look like we are trending above normal. We're talking at least mid to upper 80s. So if you like the summer heat, I think you will like not only the next 24 hours, but really the next couple of weeks. So overnight, as I mentioned, a little warmer than the last couple of nights. We'll bottom out in the low 60s with that mainly clear sky. Probably not as hazy tomorrow, and that's going to help boost our temperatures close to 90 degrees here at this time tomorrow. Probably going to end up around 4 or 5 o'clock in the low 90s. So yes, it's certainly going to feel like summer across the entire TV6 viewing area. Generally upper 80s to probably around 91 or 92 degrees. Heat index, or that feels like temperature, probably could be close to 95 or 96 as we see those dew points climb close to 60 degrees. Here's a look at the current setup right now. We've got a cold front here off to our north and west. So this cold front's going to continue to track off to the south, but what's going to happen is it's going to kind of stall out here, probably somewhere near that Iowa-Minnesota state line, and that's going to be the focal point for rain and thunderstorms here as we head into Wednesday night and Thursday. So as for tonight, a clear sky, so that means lots of sunshine here as we head into your Wednesday morning. Heading through the day Wednesday, we'll have those southwest winds pulling in not only the moisture, so it'll feel a little more muggy, but also those warm temperatures. So again, highs top out near 90 degrees. But there's the shift in the wind here near that Highway 20 corridor. So right along there is where we're going to track that potential for rain and storms here heading into the overnight. Exact track has been very, very consistent on keeping the bulk of the rain off to our north, and that's likely where it's going to stay. Then heading into Thursday, as we heat close to 90 degrees once again, we could have some air mass thunderstorms develop, which that means just those pop-up variety storms. But the good news is we're not tracking any potential for severe weather. Maybe a couple stronger storms here and there, but the severe weather should stay off to our north. Again, we'll have highs in the mid upper 80s here on Thursday, low 80s on Friday with yet another chance of storms. Maybe an isolated storm here on Saturday, but overall the weekend looking pretty nice, very summer-like. Good weekend ahead of the pool. Highs back in the mid-80s. Still probably a touch on the humid side with those dew points getting into the low 60s, but definitely a June-like weather pattern here, Morgan, as we head into the weekend and beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. It starts to feel now like summer is finally here, and we get so acclimated. Yesterday, I think I felt cold outside, and I looked really at my car, and it was like 70 degrees, and I'm like, how am I cold?
I know, yeah. We won't be complaining about being cold tomorrow. I can guarantee that.
No, we will not. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Still ahead on QCL, if you're looking for fun ways to beat summer boredom, the Robert R. Jones Public Library has something for everyone, from slime making and dancing toddlers to teen art clubs. We will take a look next.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
If you're looking for something fun, creative, or meaningful to do this month, the Robert R. Jones Public Library in Cole Valley has you covered.
Yeah, whether you have a toddler ready to move and groove, or you have a teen for, they like the arts and the flair, or if you're an adult looking to leave a lasting legacy, there's something for everyone, as always. And here from the Robert R. Jones Public Library is Kaylee Floyd. And Kaylee, you have brought a lot of stuff to really help cure the summer boredom that we might get.
Yeah.
It's
too early, though, by the way,
I was going to
kids.
say,
if you're saying you're bored already.
Yeah,
like the second week in June.
I was going to say, the first few weeks, we can keep ourselves occupied, but you want to do something different, and I think the library has something different to offer. So every Monday, you've got toddlers. It's Move and Groove.
Yes.
And I mean, I was playing with this. I was like, I was doing this. No, you.
Yes.
There you go. You learned something new today.
Sorry.
Tell us about toddlers Move and Groove while we pick our favorite.
It's basically like a musical story time. So we always start with the same opening song. So if you come regularly, the kids will get to learn those songs. And it kind of opens them
Don't
up
do
to
that.
it. And then we read a book, and then we'll do more songs to go with that book. And we do about two to four books each session. And then the end, we have a little snack, and they get to do like a musical instrument petting zoo type thing. I used to do.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, basically. It's so much fun. We did music and movement during the school year, but we'd always do a craft. So now we decided to kind of switch it up for summer and do like the musical petting zoo, and it was a hit. Like,
well,
the first time.
obviously.
They're like, and all the adults too. They're like,
Yeah.
I haven't played
It's a
one of
hit
these
with
in
the toddlers
forever.
at heart.
This is fun. Yeah, it is. And everything, all the instruments are so colorful.
They are,
It's like you absolutely have to touch them.
Absolutely.
Okay, so speaking of kiddos, maybe not toddlers, we were just talking about this, but you've got Slime Squad. I'll put this down now, coming up at the end of the month.
Yes.
So slime is all the rage. Just ask my 6-year-old.
Yes.
So
My
tell
3
us
and
about
4-year-old
this.
as well.
Yeah, right.
The young ones as well.
Our first
more iffy
one
there.
we're doing for this month is mermaid slime. So you should be able to actually, just with the one recipe, this is 4 different like batches.
Oh,
so
sure.
I did a pink one, a blue one, a purple, and then that's all of them mixed together. And you can add glitter to it.
Yeah.
But we'll just follow the recipe step by step, and I'll have, those are kind of like all the ingredients that we
have the
use.
shaving cream.
yeah.
Shaving cream, baking soda,
glue.
solution, and of course glue, so we'll be careful with that. So I've heard it could get in our hair a little bit.
That was a personal story from Kyle. But I will say too, parents, this is the perfect opportunity to leave the glitter at the
Absolutely.
library.
That is the
right?
best part
There you
about
go.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
The mess stays with me, so
that.
no
Lucky
worries. I mean,
you.
you can take the bag of your slime home to play with, but at least I'll do all the cleanup part at
Yeah,
the end.
Kaylee's got your back. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so we've got the toddlers, the kids covered. Now let's talk about the teens and tweens, because you've got a creative chapter art kind of audio book club thing going on.
Yeah,
as
so
well.
we love doing our book club all summer or all year long, and I was kind of like having a hard time letting it go for summer. But I'm like, well, those kids are probably going to camps and all that, so I wasn't going to have the same group of kids, but I still wanted to do a book club. So I kind of merged the two with our teen craft club that's normally on Wednesdays with an audio book club. So it's kind of still getting to do listening to books, and so I'll use either Libby or Boundless apps that we have at the library. That if you have our card, most libraries actually have them.
Use Libby.
Yeah, so we'll play a book from one of those apps, and then we'll do some sort of art project. So actually, last week we did painted pots.
Those are
so
cool.
Did you make that?
I did. Of
course you did.
Yes.
Very cute.
And then
cats are perfect.
these are kind of all other examples that we'll be doing throughout the summer. So next week we'll be doing diamond art. So I have some diamond art bookmarks. And then I also have diamond art stickers. So that should be fun with different characters. But there'll be other things. We did these pixel
those are neat.
pixel blocks or whatever for the kickoff party, but I have tons left over, so I was like, we'll do them again
you go.
for
Yeah.
the teens.
What a great idea. It's like you're consuming something, like you're reading a book, essentially. You're listening to a book while you're creating art. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. What a fabulous idea.
I will say, one of my teens, she listened, and her mom ended up getting her the whole book series of the book that we just listened to, and she's like, oh, we were listening to this. She's like, I got a great surprise for you. And she had the whole box set of the books.
That is awesome.
Yes.
Very cool. And then, of course, we can't forget the adults, which you guys absolutely never do.
No.
Write your legacy. This sounds like a really wonderful opportunity.
Oh, well, okay, actually it's one of our patrons that suggested it, or maybe more than one. And because they were asking for like more writing classes, but specifically something they can leave behind to their families.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have this binder kit put together of different prompts and like questions to kind of lead you to how to go about writing it, because sometimes it's like, where do I even start, right?
Sure.
And the best part about it is you don't have to start at the beginning. You can go midway through. So we have different sections. So like section 5 is moments that matter, and then each of these little bullet points will be like a prompt, a writing prompt. So you can write as much or as less. You can do a section and then skip over it.
I love
it's up
this.
to you, and then
I love that idea.
That way it compiles later on into basically your own story,
your own life
biography
story.
of sort.
And honestly, I will say I get advertised a lot on social media. People want you to pay quite a bit of money to do that, and you can do this for free at your local library. So that's great.
Awesome.
We're super excited about that one.
You know, we've talked about age specific, but this is an event for the whole family coming up to celebrate 4th of July. Boom Bash in Coal Valley. You're gonna have a booth there.
Yes. So we're doing a booth at the Coal Valley Boom Bash. Last year was the first time doing it, and we were helped out and did a booth there last year, so we're doing it again. We, I believe, are doing bubbles, like the giant bubbles, and then we'll also have lawn games as well. So make sure to stop by our booth. They'll have music, food, tons of fun activities.
It'll be a great time. Absolutely. Well, if you want to take a full look at the entire calendar of events and activities beyond even stuff we talked about today, visit robertrjoneslibrary.org. Kaylee, as always, you and your team are amazing, wonderful, so creative. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me.
We appreciate it.
See you next time. Well, just ahead on Quad Cities Live, a music festival celebrating its 57th year in Geneseo this Father's Day weekend. We have the highlights for you next on QCL.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Well, Father's Day already coming up this weekend, and so is one of the region's most beloved traditions. We're talking about the Geneseo Music Festival.
Yes, it is back for its, get this, 57th year, taking over town from Friday, June 13th through Sunday the 15th, Father's Day, offering live music, carnival fun, community spirit. Joining us now is Zach Sullivan, Executive Director of the Geneseo Chamber of Commerce, really one of the driving forces behind this event year after year. Zach, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Here we go again. Right?
Here you go again.
Once again.
57 years. It blows us away. It's quite a legacy. So what does it mean? And I'll have you speak for the entire Geneseo community here today, if you will, Zach. What does it mean to the community to continue having this tradition every single year?
Yeah, so the Geneseo Music Festival, it's like a cornucopia of free family entertainment.
Nice word.
Yeah, we call it, thank you. We have a lot of free family entertainment, but of course the music as well, but just there's so many interactive things to do at the music festival, from being involved with the parades and pageants to the family fun center we have with inflatables, and we even have an interactive hamster ball. It's like a big bubble you get in and you bounce around.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, so lots of activities for the kids to burn off some energy.
Yeah, we're seeing some photos here on the screen right now. So there's like a number of different parades as well. I mean, there's the big one on Father's Day. But you guys actually kick things off with a parade as well, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. The Geneseo Kiwanis Club hosts our annual Doodah Parade, which is a fun little parade. Yeah, the Doodah Parade, and it's you march for whatever you want to as long as it's appropriate, right?
Okay.
We just kind of gather over by Central Bank in downtown Geneseo and walk to the park, and that is the official kickoff of the music festival, and it's a lot of fun. And that little parade has been happening for, I want to say, over 30 years.
That's awesome.
And of course, as Morgan mentioned, the big parade coming up here on Father's Day. So what makes this parade so special, and what's new this year for the parade?
So the parade is special because, you know, it's really a kickoff to summer, right? It's the last official week of spring, if you will. And so we're ready to kick things off in summertime. It's a cool Father's Day festival, right? There's not a whole lot that really happens on Father's Day particularly. So I think that's something that's kind of unique about this particular event. It happens every Father's Day weekend. And then the parade's just a lot of fun. But a new thing this year is that there will be a new route. Yeah, we have construction happening on State Street, so we're going to alternate the route slightly, 2 blocks over to North Russell Avenue, and then we're going to take Park Street back over to State Street. And then the parade will continue through downtown Geneseo like it normally does. Just the northern part of the route will have a different route this year.
Well, that's good info to have. Yeah, absolutely. And there are a couple of pageants happening on Friday night, and we're seeing the photos right now. They're so cute. So you have the return of the Little Miss Geneseo Music Festival pageant. So this is the second year for that.
Yeah, and what an profound impact that these girls have had on our community. As a part of being a contestant with the Little Miss Geneseo Music Festival, they do community service. And combined, last year's group of girls has raised over $10,000.
Wow.
$10,000 for local nonprofits. I mean, this is something that didn't even exist 2 years ago, and now they're making this kind of community impact. And Ashley Moore and Kristen Grinnell are our two coordinators for this, and I can't thank them enough for the amazing job they've done. And they're all ready for this year too.
That's great.
$10,000.
That is really impressive.
That is very cool. Very cool. So obviously, you know, wouldn't be a music festival without the music. So talk about some of the performances that we're going to be able to see and where we can catch those throughout the weekend.
Yeah, so it kind of kicks off with the Party on the Patio at Inagata Davida Music. John Puentes hosts a variety of local artists. He'll also be hosting free pony rides this year right across the street. So you can get a free pony ride. We'll have Paxton Sherbine and the Solid Gold Boys. He just graduated from Geneseo High School this year. So he's making his way. We also have Smooth Groove performing on Saturday night, as well as Monica Austin, who will be performing on the back lot behind Geneseo Brewing Company. And then Ryan Bazzari comes in and closes everything out on Sunday.
All right.
Wow, there's some good bands there.
Yeah,
good lineup. I've seen a few of them. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the food. No festival is complete without lots of food. So can you kind of describe some of the vendors that we may see on hand? I know I saw like carnival food. So like I'm there already.
Yes. You gotta have the carnival food.
Yeah, your funnel cakes, your elephant ears, your fried Oreos, you're gonna have all that good stuff. But there's also some great local vendors, some barbecue vendors. We actually have someone serving gumbo this year. And so that's a new new thing that we're going to have. And we always like to change things up. We bring back, especially our food vendors. The food vendors, we get a lot of great feedback, but we also like to give new people a chance sometimes. And I think you're going to see a variety of that this year, of returning vendors as well as vendors who are at the Geneseo Music Festival for the very first time.
Great.
Yeah, it's not every day you can get gumbo here in the region, that's for sure. Here in our region. So we want to talk about a couple of events happening Saturday and Sunday, the craft fair, and then the Father's Day breakfast fly-in.
Yes. Yeah, so the Art and Craft Fair for the Music Festival will happen for 2 days. Saturday, it will run from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m., and then Sunday from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. And then, of course, Father's Day, you kick off the whole day, take Dad to the Gen Air Park just east of Geneseo, and they have their popular Father's Day fly-in breakfast where planes will fly in.
Oh, that's
huge
really
line.
Cool.
Yeah, you have to get there early. It happens from 7 a.m. until 11, but get there early because it is a huge crowd that turns out.
Yeah, huge crowd that's going to turn out to the 57th Annual Geneseo Music Festival taking place this Father's Day weekend. For more information about the festival, you can visit the Geneseo Chamber of Commerce at geneseo.org. Zach, as always, we appreciate you telling us what's going on in Geneseo.
Thank you so much. See you there.
Thank you very much, and thank you for watching.
Your local news at 4 with Marcia is coming up next.